Hey there, everyone. Tonight this is the last regular occasion on my podcast. So, yeah, this is going to be the last time until special occasions happen. Anyways, tonight is going to be spectacular. I want to break down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers season and how they got to the Super Bowl and managed to win it all. I also want to talk about what happened after Super Bowl, post Super Bowl with Tom Brady. We're also going to be discussing about Trevor Lawrence, considering that today was his pro day. And we're going to talk about the free agents that came up, especially today's J.J. Watt. I am serious. I was shocked to hear this. So I'm putting down my top. So I put down my top 5 destinations for J.J. Watt. For A.J. Bouye, Patrick Peterson, and Orlando Brown Jr., I'm only going to give my number 1 destination, considering the fact that I don't have much time for that. Anyways, let's get this party started, right? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have really come this far. I mean, seriously, the Buccaneers, they really shocked the world. After signing Tom Brady during last year's free agency, they put together a stacked team and managed to win the Super Bowl. I cannot believe it. Was it dumb luck? Was it really some of that Tom Brady magic? Who knows? I mean, seriously, let's look back at the Buccaneers season for a sec. The Buccaneers started off the regular season with 0-1 season. That was against Buccaneers. That was against New Orleans Saints, I mean. Then they won their way against Carolina, Denver, and Los Angeles Chargers. Only to fall flat on their faces against Chicago Bears. Then they destroyed the Green Bay Packers. I cannot believe it. They destroyed Green Bay that week. They also destroyed the Las Vegas Raiders in the Raiders' home turf, but came close to but was this close during their game against the New York Giants. That's what happens when you put Tom Brady again at MetLife. Then they suffered 4 games in a row. I mean, seriously. No, wait, no. No, they didn't. They got destroyed by New Orleans again, swept the Carolina Panthers, and then suffered terrible losses to the Los Angeles Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs. That was back during the regular season. I'm talking about regular season. Then came back by defeating the Minnesota Vikings, and then winning at Atlanta, destroying the Detroit Lions, winning on their home turf by sweeping the Falcons. Then moving on to the playoffs, Their first opponents were the Washington football team, which they barely won. And then in the divisional round, they defeated New Orleans Saints at last. And it was Drew Brees' final game. And then had a close game against Green Bay Packers in Lambeau. And then finally destroyed the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. Man, who would have thought? Who would have thought? And therefore, that was the path to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl. And now I'm going to ask all of you guys. Which players are do Tampa Bay have to keep in order to repeat? I'm putting this question in because the Buccaneers, they have free agency problem right now. I mean, seriously, they got Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, Shaq Barrett, Levante David, all those guys go into free agency. So free agency is crucial to Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. I mean, sure, it's crucial to all of us, but as the Super Bowl champs, that's when you get the most pressure. I mean, seriously. The Buccaneers have the most pressure because they're the Super Bowl champs. So I'm going to ask all of you, which players do Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to keep in order to repeat? Because for me, I say you got to keep you got to at least keep Chris Godwin. You got to keep Shaq Barrett, especially after what happened to Patrick Mahomes. And I'm sure you want to keep Levante David, and I'm sure you want to keep Rob Gronkowski, Tom Brady's main guy. I mean, seriously. Can you imagine if Tom Brady didn't have his best people? The Buccaneers would get slaughtered. And it would be Tom Brady's final year, a slaughterhouse. But hey, at least he got a Disney commercial again, and he gets to do it with Rob Gronkowski. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did what no championship team didn't. Why didn't Los Angeles Lakers thought of that? Or the Los Angeles Dodgers as well? I mean, seriously, a boat party? Why didn't the Lakers and Dodgers thought of that when they won their championships? Of course, Tom Brady is having surgery, and he will be okay. Okay, but here's the thing: they were partying out loud during that parade, there was even some footage where Tom Brady threw the Lombardi Trophy. Well, it took me a while to think it was a fake. But still, if it was real, that would have came out of his money. But you know what really did show disappointment was? That Tom Brady was drunk. I mean, seriously, Tom Brady. Partying like a madman. I'm sure he hasn't felt that way in a long time. And I'm sure all you Family Guy fans are probably betrayed because Peter Griffin feels betrayed that Tom Brady won a Super Bowl with the wrong team. Of course, he did have a grudge with Tom Brady back in the day. So yeah, free agency, that's when things get tough for the Buccaneers. You need to get the right guy. You need to get the right guys. Need to keep the right guys. So keep Godwin, keep Gronk, keep Shaq Barrett, and you should be okay, Tampa Bay. You lose any of them, you end up in the doghouse. Anyways, now let's move on to the next topic, shall we? I want to talk about Trevor Lawrence next. Today was his pro day. Why? Why was it his pro day? Doesn't pro days go much faster? I'm sure that's what all of you are thinking. Well, here's the thing. Trevor Lawrence's pro day happened because he's going to have surgery on his non-playing shoulder. If he had waited until Clemson's real pro day, he wouldn't get the chance to play for a while. He wouldn't be ready for training camp. He would miss some regular season games, which is why they got it out of the way. Luckily, there were a few candidates, but the people that were observing Trevor Lawrence closely was from the Jacksonville Jaguars, Urban Meyer and their offensive coordinator. I can't pronounce the last name, but I think it's Darrell. I can't pronounce the last name, though. Anyways, yeah, Urban Meyer was there. There was also Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons general manager, Terry something. There was also the New York Jets regular and assistant general manager. And there was also Carolina Panthers offensive coordinator Joe Brady. Those guys were the only ones that showed up to Trevor Lawrence's day. Everyone else was on the side, watched him from the sidelines. While those guys got a front row seat to see Trevor Lawrence. And I have to say, the guy is amazing. No wonder he led Clemson that far. I mean, seriously, especially after winning a championship on his freshman year. Which begs the question. No, I'm not going to ask that because we already know, because you're all going to say the answer. Which team would Trevor Lawrence be drafted by? And you're all going to say the same thing. Jacksonville Jaguars. Because they have the number one pick. They always go for the big guy. I mean, seriously. Yeah, I mean, seriously, you need to get the big guys. I agree. And the fact that Urban Meyer showed up today confirms what you're all suspecting. Jacksonville will get Trevor Lawrence, but that doesn't mean that Jaguars are going to sit on the sidelines. They're going to other pro days as well to study the others. Because the other teams are going to be studying the other guys as well. So Jacksonville wants to be prepared. Even if they draft Trevor Lawrence, they have to study the other guys. Don't forget Jacksonville Jaguars. They have the number 1 and they have Los Angeles Rams pick, which is practically at number 25. So they could draft Trevor Lawrence and they could draft a defensive player in the first round. So yeah. Keep your eyes open on the other teams. If you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, you should not set your sights. If you're Urban Meyer, you do not want to set your sights on Trevor Lawrence just yet. Study the other guys. Because New York Jets, Carolina Panthers, a lot more guys are going to be interested in getting new QBs. If they can't make a trade. So, yeah. Now I want to bring up today. Now then, let's move on to the next topic, which is the big one. Today was the greatest day for Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts, and Jacksonville Jaguars fans. The release of J.J. Watt. Dun, dun, dun! Yep, the release of J.J. Watt was confirmed early this morning. I was watching A to Z Nashville when Austin Stanley froze up. It was up during, they were doing one of the topics and Austin Stanley announces it. And then I turned to Twitter for a moment and I was like, what in the world? And then I found out that it was a real article. It was a real article. And I was like, I had to do that video. And if anyone saw that video, you were like, and if any of you saw that video, then you know why. Why that I screamed at the beginning. Because as a Tennessee Titans fan, it was the best day of my life. And it would be the best day for all you Indianapolis Colts and Jacksonville Jaguars fans. But it was a dark day for all Houston Texans fans, especially after everything they went through. I mean, seriously. Which is why we're going to bring up this. Which is why I put in this next question. If J.J. Watt doesn't retire this year, which team will get him? And I think we all know J.J. Watt doesn't want to retire until his Super Bowl ring is on his finger. I want to break down my top 5 teams on who can get J.J. Watt. And I want to start things off with the team that is already calling interest. Tennessee Titans. Yep, my team, the Tennessee Titans, is going first because guess what? I read an article from the Titans Wire that says they have shown interest. They've shown interest in J.J. Watt. Want to know why? It's because of the Mike Vrabel connection. Now here's the thing. I'm going to be breaking down the pros and cons of each of my 5 teams. Now, here's the thing. That's right. I'm going to break down my top 5 pros and cons. So let's get this party started. I want to start things off with my Tennessee Titans. Considering the fact that they already shown interest in J.J. Watt. And not just because they're my favorite team. So anyway, let's show why Tennessee Titans is a perfect fit for J.J. Watt. Starting with the pros. Mike Vrabel, his former defensive coordinator, is our head coach. And we already went ahead with Clowney, but he's now a free agent. But if we can retain Clowney, or even without him, if we can get J.J. Watt, combine him with Jeffrey Simmons, we are definitely going to be in for a hell of a year. I mean, seriously, we do need the pass rushing help. And J.J. Watt would help Tennessee Titans out. Now, here are the cons. It's because Tennessee Titans need pass rushing help. And Shane Bowen is the defensive coordinator. If you look back this year, it was a disaster. It was a terrible disaster. And Mike Vrabel threw Shane Bowen under the bus. And he still gave him the promotion. So if J.J. Watt doesn't want to come, I understand. Because of the Shane Bowen. Because people are going to call this the Shane Bowen curse. Also, Tennessee Titans, they have cap space problems. They might have to ask Malcolm Butler to restructure. They could even cut Kenny Vaccaro to do it. Plus, they have a lot to think about, like, say, retaining the tight end position. They also have to think about rebuilding that defense, considering the fact Shane Bowen did a terrible job this year. Also, though there was some out of sync, they need a leader. They need a leader, and that's why J.J. Watt should be on that defense. So, John Robinson, please do not cower out of this one. And it's already confirming that Tennessee Titans are showing interest in J.J. Watt. So I guess that means John Robinson is already wearing his big boy pants right now because he's showing interest. And it took me a while to realize that Clowney did not took a while to make a decision, especially coming to September. And we all know what happens. J.J. Watt, please do not wait. You saw what happened to Clowney. I mean, seriously, J.J. Watt, do not delay this. You saw what happened to Clowney. He waited until September to make a decision to come to Tennessee Titans, and look what that got him. The worst year of his life. So please, J.J. Watt, please sign with a team quick. So yeah, I'm going to keep this hat on for the rest of the J.J. Watt mention. Now I want to move on to team number 2. Pittsburgh Steelers. The pros are he would reunite with his brothers. T.J. Watt. And is Derek Watt related to him? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, he would reunite with his brother or brothers. And the Steelers' defense is stacked. That's the pro. But here's the con. It would take J.J. Watt years to get into the Super Bowl because the offense is a mess right now, especially with the announcement of Maurkice Pouncey's retirement. And Big Ben, he won't last much longer. And don't forget Juju Smith-Schuster, he's heading to free agency. And of course, Vance McDonald also announced his retirement. So yeah, if he goes to Pittsburgh Steelers, I hope he's a patient man. Because it's going to take years to get into a Super Bowl. And he doesn't have much time left. So I think Pittsburgh Steelers should be out of the question, even though family is there. Now, my third option would be the Cleveland Browns. Why Cleveland? Well, it's quite simple. The Cleveland Browns, here's the pros. Cleveland Browns, they are a tough defense. They were even able to injure Patrick Mahomes during the divisional game. That defense really destroyed Big Ben. Big Ben, by the way, started off 28-0 in that wild card game. 28-0. I mean, seriously, if you put J.J. Watt with Cleveland Browns defense, it would be one hell of a party. Now, here's the cons. And it started with the divisional round again at Kansas City. True, they were able to injure Patrick Mahomes before the end of the third quarter, but they were not able to hold off Chad Heen, the backup QB, and look what that got him. Yeah, if this defense can't handle a simple backup QB, then there's no point for J.J. Watt to come over there. Unless, of course, J.J. Watt is the guy you're looking for. Because I think there were some missing points on Cleveland's side. In which case, Cleveland Browns could also be a potential spot for J.J. Watt. Let's see. Pick number 4. Number 4. If I had to pick another team. This is a tough call. This one is a tough call. Oh, no, it's not. My number 4 pick would be Indianapolis Colts. Why Indy? Well, it's quite simple. Their defense is stacked. Their defense was completely stacked, and it was all because of their defensive coordinator. And now Indiana, and because of all the head coaching gigs took in, their defensive coordinator is going to stay where he is. So yeah, expect Indianapolis to be unstoppable. If you combine J.J. Watt with DeForest Buckner, it's going to be one hell of a party for Indy's defense. And they could take the AFC South if they rely on defense. Now, here's the con. Colts don't have a quarterback yet. So that's the con. And second, the defense did have a terrible mess when they battled the Buffalo Bills in the wild card round. So yeah, they're going to have to rely on extra training, but I think Indianapolis is a good spot. So yeah, Indianapolis would be spot number 4. And now for my 5th pick. And it's a wild card pick. New England Patriots. And you're like saying, J.J. Watt wants a contender, not a pretender. I know. But I feel like New England Patriots would be the 5th spot because of Bill Belichick. Pros are Bill Belichick's system is compatible with Bill O'Brien's, and so J.J. Watt could bring some revival for the Patriots defense. Cons are they don't have a proper QB, even after Tom Brady left. But here's the thing. Most of their guys sat out the year due to the pandemic. That was the problem. Most of their guys sat out due to the pandemic. Which is why the Patriots defense sucked this year. Now next year they're going to be back. I mean, seriously. You cannot expect to look at the New England Patriots and say they suck without all their guys. I mean, seriously. You cannot say that. I'm thinking that, and once New England Patriots have their quarterback, the true judgment begins. My guess is that it's going to come down to two choices. Either they draft Justin Fields in the first round, or they could pull a Tom Brady move and draft someone in the 4th to 7th round. If they pull the same move they did with Tom Brady, and they make it to the playoffs, that would be crazy. Like, say, Kellen Mond, for example. I would like to see Bill Belichick pull a Tom Brady again. But still, yeah, those are my top 5 destinations for J.J. Watt. Tennessee Titans, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, Indianapolis Colts, and, of course, New England Patriots. Comment down below, comment in the live chat, which team do you think will get J.J. Watt? I mean, seriously, Tennessee Titans already shown interest. It's only a matter of time before anyone else wakes up. But there's a total of 9 teams that could go after J.J. Watt. But 5 of them, but Tennessee Titans, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, Indianapolis Colts, and finally the New England Patriots are my top 5 teams to get J.J. Watt. Now, with Patrick Peterson, A.J. Bouye, and Orlando Brown Jr. leaving, I want to give away my top destination for those 3 guys. Let's start off with Patrick Peterson, considering the fact that he was released first. I could definitely see Patrick Peterson with the San Francisco 49ers. I wouldn't mind if they pull a Richard Sherman again and steal from their divisional foes. I mean, seriously. That would be insanity. For A.J. Bouye, I don't know if I can see AJ Bouye go anywhere. I think this could be his time to retire, unless, of course, he goes back to Jacksonville. I mean, Jacksonville does have the money to do it. Do it. I mean, seriously, AJ Bouye's cap space is too much. And then finally, for Orlando Brown Jr., I think Indianapolis Colts should go after him. But here's the thing. There were rumors that Orlando Brown Jr. may be worth a first-round pick. That is not cool. That is not cool. So if you want a first... So that would be... You got to be an idiot. You got to be an idiot to ask for Orlando Brown Jr. I mean, seriously, you got to be an idiot to bring in Orlando Brown Jr. You got to be desperate. Because you would be setting Baltimore Ravens up big time. With 2 first-round picks. Still, I think Indianapolis Colts would be the perfect fit. They need a left tackle since Anthony Costanzo has retired. So, yeah, I think they could wait till round 2 to get a quarterback. I mean, Philadelphia Eagles waited for Jalen Hurts. Well, this has been the shortest podcast of them all. So what do you think, guys? Which teams are going to get J.J. Watt? I'll wait a few more minutes, then I'll be saying my farewells. Which teams do you think will get J.J. Watt? Oh, well. Guess I'll just end the stream right here. I'll be seeing you all on special occasions, like, say... I'll be seeing you all on special occasions, like, say, the beginning of free agency and the NFL draft. That's what... So this podcast will be on regular occasions after this episode. I'll be waiting until free agency to start again, and therefore... Unless, of course, big news comes up. Is when I get back. So until then, see you all next time.